Hockey tends to dominate the sporting headlines of Canada's history, but Canada has a rich history of many great teams and players in a variety of sports. For soccer, Canada may not light the world on fire all the time, but almost 90 years ago there was a team that dominated the sport in its region. Today I'm looking at the 1933 Chinese students soccer team. Based out of Vancouver's Chinatown, the 1920s and 1930s were the heyday for this club, and when their games were played, Chinatown would empty of people to catch the game down at the Cambie Street grounds. For the people of the Chinese Canadian community, the games were not only a nice break from the economic depression of the area, but also the racism that they were dealing with. One of the best examples of this racism was the 1923 Chinese Exclusion Act, which essentially put a stop to all Chinese immigration into Canada, and it would stay in place until after the Second World War. The Chinese head tax, which charged $500 to immigrate into the country, lasted from 1885 to 1923. Many Chinese Canadians in Vancouver could not use community centers, and even leaving Chinatown presented a risk to them. Chinese Canadians were not allowed to vote either, while white residents of Vancouver saw Chinatown as an immoral and crime-infested ghetto. For those dealing with that racism, watching the Chinese student soccer team dominate was a sense of pride, especially considering the team was the only Chinese Canadian soccer team in all of Canada. In 1926, the team won the Iroquois Cup, a sign of their growing greatness on the soccer field. The team didn't stop there though. They also won the Louis Denison Taylor Trophy for sportsmanship on and off the field, and they captured the Wednesday League Cup in 1931. The team had been formed in 1920 as the Chinese Student Athletics Club. The team would exist for the next 22 years until it folded in 1942. They quickly began beating their high school rivals and then attempted to join the Vancouver Junior League, but the team's sponsor accidentally applied to the Senior League. It didn't matter. The team quickly began dominating. Through the 1920s, the team would grow in its ability and skill until 1933, when it gained the respect of not only the other teams, but the Vancouver press, made up of mostly white reporters who had previously ignored the team. The pride in the team was shown in a poem, written in 1926, and it reads, "This advice I give to you, kick the ball both swift and low, and you'll know the way to go. Here's good luck to students, boys. In their success we all rejoice. Yell, bravo, in ringing voice." One of the top players was Kuhn Yip, the Stars center for the team who scored goals with clinical precision, while his brother Art was one of the best passers in the league and the captain of the team, and Shupon Wong caught nearly every ball kicked at him, earning him the name Scoop for his ability to scoop up loose balls as a goaltender. In 1933, the team were the favorites in the Lower Mainland First Division to win the Mainland Cup, the most prestigious soccer trophy in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia. The team would defeat the North Shore United team 1-0 in the semi-final and advance to the final on a rainy May 29th. They would play the UBC varsity team at Con Jones Park in front of 1,000 people. With 1 minute left in the game, the score was tied 3-3 thanks to the goals from Buck Singh, Kuhn Yip, and Horn Yip. Jack Soon would score his winning goal in that last minute as fans swept onto the field to celebrate the team's championship. The victory party would pour out onto Pender Street as bands played and fireworks went off. The players would ride in an open car holding the trophy in the air, and the next day, a holiday was declared in Chinatown and free tea and dim sum was served for everyone. 3 years after that championship, the team won the Spalding Trophy in 1936. Players on the team through its history were stellar on the field, but many would find great success off the field as well. Doc Yip, who was a midfielder for the team, became the first Chinese-Canadian lawyer called to the Canadian bar. William Lohr, who was the vice president of the team, would become the first Chinese-Canadian naval officer and was in Hong Kong to accept the surrender of the island at the end of the Second World War. Gim Yip would become the first Canadian-trained Chinese doctor, while Tong Lui would become the CEO of London Drugs. Kuhn Yip would be inducted into the BC Sports Hall of Fame in 1998, while the 1933 Chinese student soccer team would be inducted in 2011.